All right, here we go. This one's going to be a 44 Magnum test. Today we're going to be testing out jacketed soft point versus jacketed hollow point. So for that soft point, we do have our 180 grain Remington UMC. That's what that one looks like. Does have a little bit of that lead exposed. Does have your standard brass case on that one, and it is rated at 1,610 feet per second. And for that jacketed hollow point, we are using our Hornady LeverEvolution. That one does have that polymer tip down in there. Also nickel plated brass, and that one is rated at 1,410 feet per second. I don't know if I mentioned that one was 225 grains, so not really apples to apples with weight, but still should be a pretty fun test. I have tested both these in the past, and man, we are pushing with some of these velocities. So we will be testing it out of our Ruger Super Blackhawk. That one does have a 10.5-inch barrel and a 2x20 loophole scope on that. And we'll be going through our gel. That is a 10% block. We do have our catch block behind that, so a total of 25 inches of gel. Our 4 layers of cotton t-shirt on the front, and like always, we'll set up our chronograph so we can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how these rounds do. First one up will be that jacketed soft point. All right, we're stepping back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. So our impact velocity on that was 1,815 feet per second. So man, those things are pushing. I'm pretty sure that's just over 1,300 foot-pounds there. So really good to see out of that long barrel. All right, and before we check anything out, it looks like we destroyed our table again. So man, we are going through these tables. All right, check that out. I didn't compensate enough for that scope, but still looks like we got a pretty decent hit. So before I move anything, looks like it drug that cotton t-shirt in there. So we're gonna pull it out now. That is crazy. Took it with it this time. And that is nuts. Look at that. That you don't even have to really open up. You can just see right down in that cavity, and got a huge star pattern so far. Looks like we did blow out the bottom and the side and everything. So good to see. So what we're gonna do, actually we could probably get a measurement from up top, and then we'll flip it so we can get the measurement from the other side. All right, so let's see if we can get that measurement. So it does look like we went all the way over. So we are right at 4 inches from the top, so not too bad at all. So let's see from the side. Check that out. That is nuts. Came in and just blew this gel apart. Huge stretch cavity going all the way through. And it looks like it pretty much carried all the way through. It's about that last maybe inch or so, and then start to settle down a little bit, and then it is resting there in that second block. So see if we can get a measurement from the side. Probably not going to be as accurate, but we're right at about 3.5 inches, so pretty good so far. And then we did make in that block. You really can't see it. It's kind of hard to tell, but at our leading edge, we made it 6 inches, so a total of 17 inches of penetration. So really good to see there. So let's flip this block over and see if we can get a better look. All right, so you can see it a little bit better from this side. That huge stretch did blow a chunk of gel out, and probably blew more underneath our table from that big hole that it created. But yeah, so we did hit it a little bit low, but still not too bad. Pull this chunk just to get out of the way. But we got a huge stretch cavity on that going all the way through. So let's see if we get a measurement from this side. So all the way over, yeah, exactly 4 inches on that. So really good to see. So we're going to set up for that hollow point, see how that one does. All right, we're stepping back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on this one. So our impact velocity on that was 1,638 feet per second. So last time I did test this, we're about 1,670, so not too bad, about 30 feet per second less, but really good to see those numbers there. All right, once again, before I show that gel, look at this hole. Destroyed that table. All right, check it out. So it looks like our entry was pretty much identical to that last one. You know, same right there. So it is this one on the left, and that one you could definitely tell got some pretty good damage going so far. So you can see right down in that cavity, not as much as that last one, but still pretty good. And then some huge spiral cuts. I can actually see that red polymer tip sitting in there, and then a couple fragments. So this one's definitely dumping some lead. Check that out. We got some major damage coming in on this one also. So I did actually flip the block around, just so I didn't really interfere with that wide stretch on this side, but came all the way through, and then we made it a little past halfway on this second block. So we got quite a bit of penetration on that one, but a huge stretch so far. So let's see if we can get an accurate measurement on this one. It does look like we did have that blowout here on the end. So with this one, man, it's hard to tell. Once we do our cross section, we'll be able to tell a little bit more, but we're right at 5 inches on that one, so a whole inch more of stretch from that hollow point. So pretty good there. So, and I believe that one was just over 1,300 foot-pounds, so really good for that 44 Magnum. But check it out, you can see as soon as this thing came in, opened up really nicely, got some huge spiral cuts going through. Major damage, and this one doesn't look like it really settled down at all. Tons of damage, and then we did make it into that second block. So let's see if we can get a decent measurement on this one. Once again, we did blow out the bottom, so we'll check it out from the top one more time. So it looks like this one is about 3 1/4 inches from the side, so not too bad there. And then we do have our round sitting right over here. You could barely see it. This block is a little bit cloudy, but our leading edge, we are at 9, just about 9 1/4 inches of penetration. So we got 20 1/4 inches total of penetration for that hollow point. And I did test this one a while back, and I believe we got just about the same, just over 20 inches of penetration. So that thing is definitely moving in deep. So let me flip this block over so we can get that little bit better look right here. Check this out, man. That is crazy. It's this track on the right, but that thing came in and just did some major damage. You can see that little polymer tip there, and then quite a few fragments going out, but that is nuts. So let's see if we can get this measurement. Yeah, it blew this stuff up all over the place. So yeah, we're right at 5 inches. So what I'll do later on when we do our cross section, I'll get a little bit better reading on those. So it's going to be a little bit different the way I do it. Normally I shoot them both the same way, but they had so much damage that I had to actually flip the block because I didn't want these big tracks to interfere. So the one on the right is that hollow point, and the one on the left is that jacketed soft point. So let's see, I'll actually flip it one more time. All right, we'll do it like this just so we can get a little bit better look. So this one is that jacketed soft point. So that one came in and just major destruction, blew that whole block out. Huge stretch cavity going through, dumping a ton of that energy. Does look like there's a little fragment down in there. And then we did start to kind of flatline towards the end, and then we did make it into this second block. It's resting right up here on top, but pretty good damage on that one. And for our hollow point, let's see, I'll flip it one more time. Actually, it'll be a little bit better to do it from this side also. So there is that hollow point. Same thing with this one. Came in, just blew up basically, dumped all kinds of energy. You can see that tip down in there, a couple fragments, lead and copper. Man, but that thing is just doing some crazy damage in that gel. And like I said, that one didn't really settle down too much at all. And we did make it into that second block about 2/3 of the way. So quite a bit of penetration there. So really good to see for both those rounds. That 44 mag is awesome. I love that thing. So let's pull these rounds and see what they look like. All right, check these things out. Looks like we got some major expansion for both of them. Surprisingly, that soft point did expand really nicely. So Really good to see there. So the one on the right is that hollow point. The one on the left is that jacketed soft point. I did flip them around, so everything's a little bit backwards in this video, but it's all right. So here is that soft point. That one is the first one we shot, but check out that mushrooming on that one. You can see a little bit of that texture pattern from that cotton t-shirt there, but that thing pushed back really nicely right back to that cantilever lock. There's still a bit of gel stuck down in there, but really good to see there. Quite a bit of mushrooming. One awesome round, and that thing was moving out pretty good. And here is that hollow point. This one is the FTX round, but same thing with this one. Got some major expansion on that, and quite a bit of penetration also, but pretty uniform expansion on that one. Good to see that it's not really shedding anything or not getting, you know, jacket core separation. And there's quite a bit of gel down in that one too, so we'll rinse everything out before we get our shots here at the end. But really good to see there. So there is the bottom of those. So one on the right is that soft point, one on the left is the soft point, man, I'm all backwards. One on the left is the soft point, one on the right is that FTX hollow point. So there is the bottom, and here is the top. So either one of them, definitely wouldn't hesitate to use for hunting. I know we have been doing quite a bit of big bore 44 mag lately, but it's cool to see all these different calibers. So there we go, soft point versus hollow point. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, so before I do those cross sections on these ones, I'm just going to show you from the top and to show you that these are a jumbled mess. It's going to be a tough one to get accurate measurements on these, just because of the way that they kind of collided together. Same thing on this one. It's just got some major damage. That 44 is really doing some work on this gel. So let's see if we can get this first one going. All right, so here's that cross section for that flat point, or that jacketed soft point. And man, this thing is crazy. This one, like I always say, it basically looks like it got hit by a rifle round. This thing was moving out over 1,800 feet per second. So we got some major damage, some huge splits going on right down in there. And I did remeasure these, and we're at about 4¼ to about 4½ inches at some of its widest spots. So quite a bit of damage going on. So let's cut this thing open. All right, so here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side, this top is the left. So this one came in right here and basically started opening up. We have a huge stretch cavity going all the way through. We didn't get the best shot placement on this one, so it's kind of hard to get really accurate measurements and stuff, but we still doing what we can. But we got some major damage. You can see how bad that gel's messed up. And same here, this stuff is, you know, barely hanging on by a thread, but major damage going on. This stuff is all jumbled up. And same here on this top side, came in and just opened up. You can see how destroyed this stuff is, but that same huge stretch going all the way through. We do have a little bit of that cotton t-shirt in there. It does look like there's some very small fragments, but for the most part, that round held together really good. So really good to see there. But man, that is some major damage coming in, and super impressive for those jacketed soft points. I guess when they're moving that fast, you know, they're really putting out some good energy. But there we go. That was the Remington 180 grain jacketed soft point. All right, and here's that cross section for that FTX round. And man, this thing was super impressive. All I can say with that is wow, because we got some major damage. You can see where that one came in. Like the last one, didn't get the best shot placement on it, but we still got some pretty major damage. And this stuff really just destroyed the gel. Super crazy to see how much damage this thing did. Same with this, it's just barely hanging on. There's some fragments down in there too. And I did remeasure this one, and we're right at 5 inches to about 5 1/8 inches. So just a crazy amount of damage going on. And I have seen these you know, in a couple tests in the past, and they don't really seem, they're kind of like hit and miss. But every test I've done with them, they're just crazy. So let's cut this stuff open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right, this top is the left. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult to kind of get these tracks going, because this gel's barely hanging on. It's literally falling apart. So you can see here where it came in, probably about a 1/2 inch instead of our normal 1/4 inch. where it came in and started opening up, and like I said, this stuff is barely hanging on, but we have a huge stretch going all the way through this little chunk, and just a crazy amount of damage. This stuff is really jumbled up here, and some huge splits going on. There is a pretty big fragment right there. We'll actually try to pull that out, but yeah, pretty big fragment that's hanging on. There was a couple more copper petals sitting there, but yeah, this is crazy. And same on this top side. I believe this is where that polymer tip was, but you can see a couple more fragments. This one came in, there's that 1/2 inch mark, and just basically blew up all the way through. Huge stretch cavity. There's that polymer tip. You can see that down in there. Let's see if we can move it. But yeah, that polymer tip stuck down in there. But yeah, pretty impressive there. So as long as these things are shooting accurate, you know, I would absolutely not hesitate to use these for any type of hunting. But really cool to see. So there we go. That was that Hornady 225 grain FTX round.